Okay, we are live. Thank you so much for joining us, and please share this broadcast with your friends and networks now. We're so excited that you're joining us for a conversation on unity entitled, Can One Person Really Bring the World Together? With Sharon Ria, myself, and other special guests that you will meet very shortly. This is part of many events that we and We the World are doing for World Unity Week, which is an amazing convergence of organizations around the world, as many as 200 that are participating in World Unity Week. My name is Rick Ulfik, and I'm the founder of We the World and the We campaign at we.net. We the World is a global coalition building organization with 11 campaigns for change, and unity is one of them. You can take action with us by going to we.net. As I said, unity is one of them, and others include economic justice, environment, human rights, women, disarmament, peace, that kind of thing. But today we're going to focus on unity. So let me bring in our host for today. Sharon Ria is founder of No Judgment, Just Love, whose mission is to inspire us all to live together with unconditional allowance, one courageous action at a time. She is coordinator of We the World's campaign for unity. And to connect with her, you can go to thewholefamilycoaching.com and nojudgmentjustlove.com. And of course, you can also find out more about We the World by going to we.net. And I think Sharon will give you even more contact information. So welcome to the broadcast, Sharon Ria.
Hello, everybody. Oh my, I'm so happy I woke up today because we're going to have a fun conversation about unity. Such a huge topic in our world right now. I am honored to be a part of the We community. We, where we are individuals collectively doing the work of bringing our world together. So under the Unity campaign, if you go to we.net and click on campaigns, you will find about 7 or 8 different areas where the Unity campaign focuses. And I just want to mention a few because they're important for our conversation today. The first one is that we in the Unity campaign seek to strengthen each other through interfaith conversations, bringing lots of different perspectives about religion and spiritualism together to explore a lot of different perspectives. The second one is to work very succinctly and specifically, but with compassion, to end racism and intolerance in all areas. And that is part of the mission of No Judgment, Just Love, bringing us all together. The We Campaign for Unity also encourages healing between groups that cannot speak to each other. We have a few of those in our world right now. And under that, I have a program called the Comfy Couch Conversations. And it is exactly how it feels when I say it. The other thing under the Unity campaign is to promote global we consciousness. 1, 2, 3, we. And the last one, which which I know Dom, who's on the phone, who I'll introduce shortly, will be speaking about, is to promote values and ethics as we start to bring our world more together through unified actions. So that's the setup. Our opening question is 2 for today. 1, can one person really bring the world together? Or what can we do together that one person cannot do alone? So I open the floor. Please unmute. Who would like to answer first from their opinion? Alana, can I choose you to go first?
Well, I have an 18-year-old who just graduated high school, and she took a class called AP Seminar where they discuss these kinds of topics. And I asked her, can one person, what was her opinion? Can one person change the world? And she said, no. And I said, why? And she said, well, because you need some great action by this one person. One person can, this is an 18-year-old. One person can, but you need some great action, like a martyr. And I'm like, a martyr? A martyr sort of connotates something negative, right? Something negative has to happen for that martyr to be a martyr, right? Dare I say George Floyd? What happened to him woke up the whole world, right? Whether you like what happened or not, or what was done about it, right? Is he a martyr? Does he affect change? Is he affecting change? Jesus, right? Jesus, he was a martyr and he affected change all over the world. In fact, because how they handled Jesus, they handle bad guys now. Not that Jesus was a bad guy, right? But he was kicking up a tussle. They don't talk about when they take out people that get a lot of other people's attention now because of how powerful it is. So back to the question, can one person change the world? Yeah, but why does it have to come in the way of something destructive or like George Floyd? Or, I don't know. That's what she and I discussed, is that the answer is no, right? But then you look at this situation. When you came to me and you said, I want to do this, would you be willing to do it with me? What happened in my heart was that I saw what you were trying to do. And I said, I want to support my friend because she's brave. And by herself, she's not waiting for anybody else. She's saying, you know what? I want to do something and I'm going to go do this. Would you like to come with me? And you inspired me to come and be a part of this conversation. So no, maybe on a big scale, no, without a big movement, but on a small scale, which is what one person is, I say yes. And it starts with conversations like this.
Oh, Alana, thank you. That's beautiful. I'm so glad that you engaged your 18-year-old, because at this point, Terry, if you can unmute Dom, I'd love to bring in another young person's perspective about this question. Dom, we're getting ready to unmute you, so hopefully you are there and ready to chat, because I asked him this question ahead of time when I was deciding to do this. Wait, Terry's not unmuting, so see if Rick, can you help unmute Dom? Thank you. So, okay, thank you. So he had a different perspective too, Alana, pretty much like your daughter. Hey, Dom, you're on.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Sorry you guys can't see my face. Hopefully my voice does justice. Yeah, me and Sharon had this conversation about a couple weeks ago. It kind of, my opinion kind of ties in with question number 2. But I do believe one person can change the world, but it takes a leader to change the world. But with a leader, it takes action, and he has to have set a certain example for others to follow. And for those to follow creates a team. So I believe a team can change the world, but it takes that one great leader example. For instance, as in, if I have a brand called Etiquette, a clothing brand called Etiquette, it takes, like I said, it takes an example for them to follow. So I have to do everything with packing the package, and I'm showing them how to I'm setting the example for them to follow. So, I mean, it takes like for instance, another example, Martin Luther King Jr. He was a great leader, stood up for what he stands for. And he created a movement. It creates a movement to change the world, and to change the world, there has to be a positive movement, and people have to be on that same vibrance as you, and they have to feel your energy, where when you're speaking, they have to feel that you're telling the truth and you're actually trying to make a difference. So that's kind of my opinion. I believe it takes one great leader to change the world, but it takes a team of unity to bring the world together. And now you have all different types of leaders within that team, if that makes sense.
It makes total sense, and you're just making me blush with pride. Dom is family for me. He's my daughter's boyfriend. And Dom, would you just take a minute to explain how you came to creating the company Etiquette and how your friends who are ball players and just similar age as you latched onto it really quickly, and what kind of examples you're showing, especially in Billy's baseball camp?
Oh yeah. So I have a clothing brand called Etiquette. We believe in the world nowadays, especially the younger generation. They just have a lack of morals and ethics, and they just don't have no respect anymore. So we see that we have a self-awareness of we're interacting with a lot of the younger generation, and they have basically no manners anymore. And we grew up on the generation where it was yes sir, no sir, please, thank you, and everything is just given to kids nowadays. And it's molding the youth in the wrong way. So with Etiquette, we're trying to pave the right path where the kids of this generation, and even adults, just because you have one opinion that's different from the other, doesn't mean you have to dislike that person or talk bad about that person behind the back. Everybody has their own opinion, and it is what it is. You just go on without your day and go about your business, and that's that. Just because, for example, if me and Sharon we have a lot of differences when it comes to political views, but it doesn't mean I dislike her as a person or I disagree with her as a person. It's just, I have my view of the world and she has her view of the world, and that's okay and that's fine. But if we have the same values and we're trying to do the same thing, but we just have different views, it could be done. It's just, we're just explaining it differently now. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to go talk bad behind her, about her back, or, talk about her political views to somebody else. No, that's her opinion, and she's free to that opinion, and that's okay. But that's where Etiquette ties in, and, we're trying to be a movement where we're trying to be and set that pavement where we're trying to bring the old school back a little bit, having manners, have respect, and just be classy about everything. That's where you don't really hear the word etiquette a lot nowadays. I mean, a lot of people don't really know how to spell it, to be honest. I didn't know how to spell it, to be honest, first. But, just bringing a whole environment where, we're moving in the right direction with some class, and we got some respect, and, we're walking with our head a little higher that day, just because, we do have etiquette and we do have class and we know how to act around people, and that's what I feel. I just feel like a lot of people in this world nowadays just don't know how to act and don't know how to interact with people anymore. And it's kind of sad because, you're stuck in a nutshell, and, the world is big. Like I said, it takes a really big team to change the world, I believe. And I think this whole group right here is stepping in the right direction. And I love having conversations like this. It brings the best out of me, and it fills my heart with joy a little bit. And I like doing things like this.
Thank you, Dom. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. And I see Alana's hand raised. Are you unmuted, my friend, so you can talk?
I am.
Okay, Rick, can you
hear me?
Rick, Dom back so we can hear Alana? Thank you so much, Dom.
Rick, I'm sorry, Dom. I love what you just said about etiquette, and what comes up for me is the 4 agreements, Sharon, is that what it's called?
Yes. Yep.
Impeccable words.
Yes.
Impeccable words. And I think that is the biggest problem, is that I agree that we need to work more on some kind of etiquette where we can use young people, old people, all people, have some kind of a vehicle, a safe vehicle where there is no, and it's tough, right? Where you're not giving the wrong impression if that's not your intention. This morning, I went on a walk in my neighborhood that I've lived in for 16 years, and a neighbor stopped me and started to question me that if I lived in this neighborhood, and where do I live?
No.
And I've lived here. And I said to her, I've lived here for 16 years. I've been your neighbor for 16 years. well, I don't know who you are. There are 92 houses in this division. Does she know all 92 families? So it's just, I felt like I needed to defend what, that I lived there. And what I realized was I started to take offense. Like, hey, I feel left out. I feel like not a part of this community, because if anybody else had been walking down, which I run into people all the time walking on this path, I don't see any of them having to defend that they live in the neighborhood or not. And furthermore, whether you live in the neighborhood or not doesn't matter if you want to go for a walk or not. You don't need to live in the neighborhood. But I thought about that lady, and she wasn't exactly mean to me, but whatever her reason, maybe if she had chosen different words or a different approach to getting information from me, maybe I wouldn't have been so offended and felt ununited in that moment with my neighbor,
Yeah.
So etiquette and impeccable words. Yes, Dom, yes. I think we definitely, one way to unite us is fix our words.
Yes, thank you, Alana. Dom, you're on the money, baby. Inhi, would you like to come join the conversation? I see your beautiful face.
Oh, thank you. Wow. At the dawn, it's just a breath of fresh air coming from the 20-some years old gentleman. And very impressive, especially now what I see, what's going on with the young teens and young adults, and just bring about the subject of etiquette. And it's like a breath of a fresh air. I'm so impressed. And for me, it's like the unity. I have not really thought about it a whole lot. I got the invitation, and but you know what? I'm sure that I can have a lot of experience at whatnot, and it all will come to me. And whether that I can make any change, as a one person can make change this world. You know what? It will be tough, but everything is starting from the dot, and everything is just starting from me, how I behave, and that's going to be affecting the others, just like people surround me. So yeah, I think that we can make a big differences. But sometimes, like I make analogy, when you wanted to make a big tunnel, there's a mountain. When you have to open up that tunnel, the one single dynamite is not going to do it. You're going to be needing that amount of whatever the ton of a dynamite. And then whoever ignites that fire, that could be the leader, and blast off, and then you can open up that tunnel. And that will be my analogy. So you are not just a single you, but you are part of this, the whole package of the dynamite to use or facilitate that opening up that tunnel. So that's something that I thought of. And then as Mother Teresa is like always a very impressive lady. And I think that she was one of her quotes is she was saying that you are not a drop in the ocean, but you are the entire ocean in a drop. So I think that is the kind of it's like coming to whether that you make an impact. You're not just a drop in the ocean. You are the drop. So
wow.
Yeah.
Mother Teresa came to see us today.
Mother Teresa, yes, entire ocean in a drop. Too. Yes.
Jesus, Martin Luther King, they're all here for unity.
Yeah, we have awesome people that we can model. Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you, Inhi. Yes, Rick, you have a hand up. And then when it's my turn, I want to comment on Mother Teresa from Inhi. Please join us, Rick.
Why don't you do that? I wanted to comment on something that was said earlier. So why don't you
let's back up the train to earlier, and then I'll follow you. How's that?
Oh, okay. So I was thinking as you were speaking, Alana, earlier about that person that you were talking with, saying that they would have to do something spectacular in order to change the world, right? It would have to be or a sacrifice. And I think you talked about George Floyd and that kind of thing. Well, it made me think, I don't know if you heard about this, but there was a young person named Darnella Fraser, who actually took the video. I guess she was walking by, and she looked at the what was going on with Derek Chauvin kneeling on the neck of George Floyd, and she actually videotaped that. So she thought, "Oh my God, what's going on? I'm gonna do this." And she, that act of doing that actually helped to bring the whole world together. I mean,
Yeah.
people around the world watched that video, and it sparked their needs for respect and recognition, acknowledgement, and all of these different things because of what they're doing in their lives and their localities. So that you know that was a very simple act of taking out your phone and doing that.
Yeah, and you know what, Rick, I just want to respond to that really quickly, is that the simple act of the start, like Enhi said, with lighting the dynamite or taking out your phone, is just a moment in time, but then right after that, there is an opportunity for a choice. And the young lady with the camera had to make a choice. Do I continue to be brave and do this thing that I think is important, or am I timid or scared or vacant to stop? And so, Rick, that leads me into my comment. Is that okay, or you want to keep going?
Well,
Did you
I
get
just
it?
want one point is that she was 17 years old when she did that.
Yes.
So this is, and if you want to have an example of one person changing the world, there you go, 17 years old.
Exactly. Do you want to respond with your answer to one of the two questions?
Me about that? Well, that was, I guess, my response about that. And what can we do together that we can't do on our own? I guess
Yeah.
that's why I started We the World back in 1998, because that's exactly what it's all about. It's about people and organizations coming together to achieve more than they can achieve on their own. Um, and like I said, we've developed, coming out of 11 days of global unity, we now have these 11 campaigns, and literally hundreds of organizations have signed up to participate with us on one or more of these campaigns. So it's flowing out. The difference that we're all making is rippling out around the planet.
Yes, and I want to expand that couple of hundred organizations, because we have a statistic of our network, the We Network, started by this beautiful, handsome man, Mr. Rick Bolfick, who has such a varied background, musician, artist, so many things. We include now over 30,000 individuals and networks in our community. That's just an amazing unifying number. 30,000 voices, hearts, minds are all engaged in creating a world for we. Thank you, Rick, for starting this.
Thank you, Sharon, for being part of it. And now
You
all of
betcha.
us are part of it.
Yes, yes. Alana, Enhi, and Dom, please do continue to follow us. Join us.
I just love what you said, Rick, and I cannot wait until my daughter gets home, because you're right. A 17-year-old girl affected change all by herself. She made the choice to continue to video, no matter how horrific and that scene was to her, how traumatizing it was. She went into battle and she followed through. And, I think Sharon and I talked about this a couple of Saturdays ago about social media. Having a camera on you is huge in making changes and bringing about unity, more so than I think any other time in our history, because this is a problem we've always had. But I want to say one thing about unity as a group, right? I was watching Stephen Colbert one night, and my favorite scientist besides my daughter, Neil deGrasse Tyson, came on, and he was actually there to talk about life on other planets. And right now it's super, super secret research, but it's been found, right? And he was there to talk about it. He's not allowed to go into detail, but he's saying, wait for it, it's coming. And Neil, for those of you who don't know, Neil deGrasse Tyson is African-American, and he chose that opportunity to make a commentary on unity. And he said, you know, all these problems we have right now with all these different groups, one of the thing that's going to unite us is life on other planets, because now we're no longer, you know, LGBTQ, African-American, brown, whatever. We are the human race, you know? And I'm like, I welcome that day. I welcome that day. Bring on the aliens so that we can finally unite as a globe, you know?
And I'm going, Alana, why do we have to wait? Why is it a secret?
I know.
Why can't we know? What
Well,
the heck?
He said there's proof. So, you know, no more waiting. We can unite.
But I think that's part of our difficulty in unifying. We're not as spontaneous, and spontaneous is your natural inertia. It's the thing that your soul is calling you to do. And we analyze and think and stop and question and resist that immediate spontaneous feeling. And that to me is an inhibitor to creating unity. Because when you feel free to say whatever you need to say with a lot of etiquette, thank you, Dom, and then with no judgment, just love, thank you, Sharon, and with a we consciousness, thank you, Rick, and with two beautiful people coming into that song, then now we can listen to other people who are spontaneous in what they say. So yeah, Neil, I got you, I hear you. I still like Bill Nye the Science Guy, so anyway. Dom, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I mean, I just following up. It takes a lot for one person to change the world, but it can be done. It's just sad that it has to be something tragic for somebody to change the world, or even wake up the world. The whole thing with George Floyd, as Alana said, that it took his death to kind of wake up the world, and that's sad to see, because why can't we just figure out before then? You know what I mean? Why does something tragic have to happen for us to wake up? You know, same thing with Martin Luther King Jr. You know, he had a movement going on, and the movement was big, but it wasn't until after his death people started to realize, like, wow, this man was actually changing the world. And, you know, hopefully we can move on, and we could address the fact faster than something tragic to happen. You know what I mean?
I do. Thank you, Dom. Inhi, I see you've unmuted. Did you want to chime in?
Oh, no, it told me to unmute.
Oh.
So it's like, I don't know if you guys have some questions to ask or whatnot.
Look at you following directions.
Yes.
Well, if you have anything, please share with us. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and give my opinion and get us closed out.
Mm.
Okay, so I want to talk about one person being able to change the world. And as we've so far identified, it is something usually that we see as tragic, or something. Dom, can you unmute? There's some noise behind you, buddy. Rick, can you help me?
Yeah.
Okay. That it's usually something tragic or huge that's in a negative fashion, or as I think Alana or Inhi said, as a martyr. But I want to invite you to open your eyes differently and expand your peripheral, that people do change the world one person at a time by their spontaneous action. And I want to give the story of two men, because I'm so excited, like Dom and Rick are here, that when the men open their hearts to change the world, it balances out what I view our world as seeing, that women have the empathy, women have the compassion, and men don't. That is so false. So thank you, Dom and Rick. Two men that I have just interacted with in the past week. One who's, how old is Remy? Probably in his 40s, and the other one is 5. Remy is my client. I am a family relationship coach. And I think he would be very excited for me to share this small story with everyone. He works in an environment where it's all men, and they're technical men, and they have a lot of, I guess that's testosterone going on. So there's a lot of emotion in the heightened anger, frenzy type of way. And so when they're in a meeting and he's sitting next to someone and his personality is the opposite, is very calm, down to earth, breathe. So when he's sitting next to someone who's standing up and giving their, excited reason about what they're talking about, he just reaches over and puts his hand on their hand. Just gently put his hand on the other person's hand. And they don't even realize it for a few minutes. And he just sits there. All of a sudden, he tells me, they look down, he goes, "What are you doing?" my client just says, "I just wanted to give you some compassion. Looks like you're a little upset." So that's one person changing the world just in a small, wonderful, compassionate way. And I can imagine that person who he just lightly put his hand on is now thinking different thoughts and has interrupted that frenzy. The story of the sweet little 5-year-old is even cooler. So he, at 5, can recognize when someone is upset or unhappy or sad. And so what he does, and started out with his mom, is he will just start rubbing your elbow. Just touching your elbow. No words, just touching your elbow. And he now does that, she said, the mom shared with me, on the plane. Somebody's upset next to him, just touching their elbow. Somebody's peace and quiet and calm, just affirming that by touching their elbow. So I just give that in contrast to what we often understand or believe or think or realize, that it has to be a tragic or saddened event that one person acknowledges. It can be a peaceful, happy, confident one that changes the world. Yes, Rick. Or Dom. Dom, did you have something? No, Rick.
I'm going to see if I can unmute Dom just in case he has something to say. It's hard to tell.
Okay, go ahead, Rick.
But I definitely wanted to ask you about, I love those two examples of one person making a difference, and the ripple of that goes out, and people don't often think about that. But let's say when you are holding the door open for someone who's coming behind you and going into a building or something like that, then it's almost instinctual. Not everybody, but many people then will hold the door for the next person coming down. And I remember those random acts of kindness, pay
Yes.
it forward, where the cars are lined up to go through a toll booth, and one person pays for the car behind them. They don't even know who they are. They're never going to see them again. And then the person comes up, and then they pay for the next person behind them. So these little acts can ripple out. I wanted to ask you, Sharon, before we finish, because and let's see if we can get Dom to unmute.
Did he go away? Is he here?
No, he's here, but I don't
Okay.
know.
He's unmuted. He's unmuted.
Oh, he is
Rick.
unmuted.
Yeah.
Okay, because something
So
that
what's your
Dom,
question?
yeah, something that Dom said earlier was that he thought that there might be some political differences between, his political beliefs and yours, Sharon. And I wanted to see if maybe we have an opportunity for you to talk about the comfy couch and the ways that people who have differing beliefs in on any kind of subject, politics or anything, can come together in a non-threatening environment and actually talk about that. And since I'm involved with nonviolent communication, I'm very interested in that whole process of how conflict can be resolved between people in a way that supports what each person values and needs.
Well, thank you so much, Rick, for that conversation. And I would agree with Dom that we do have different perspectives on some topics, and we have been, over the time of knowing each other, able to have conversations, and it doesn't get at least from my view, and I'd love to hear, Dom, yours once I get done. It doesn't get heated, it doesn't get shut down. We just have the conversation. But I want to just focus quickly, Rick, on the word resolution, resolve, that it comes to a resolve. Often the definition of resolve is complete, like something has ended. And in the comfy couch format, the comfy couch, because it is a comfy couch. There's a real comfy couch sitting in my living room that this was named after. And it is an opportunity to engage in a conversation that doesn't have to end with a conclusion. It can end with, I hear you, you heard me, we may not agree, but we still go off free. And that is, we've had that, right, Dom?
No, without a doubt. At the end of the day, you're learning something new, and you can't change the world unless you change yourself. So if she has a different view on something, that's probably something that I didn't even know about, or now she's taking my perspective into a different in a whole nother world. So now I'm learning something new, and who knows, maybe I could look into that and I'll agree on that with her. So at the end of the day, it's all about change, and it's all about adapting and adjusting to things that you're not comfortable with.
Right, and I agree with Dom, and that was going to be my point of the answering, can one person change the world, which is just like you're making a stew or a gumbo or some kind of soup that has a lot of different vegetables. You want to pick out the freshest, the ones that you know will complement and blend. And even if it's different, like a salad that I make with grapefruit, blue cheese, and walnuts, you think, what? Those things don't seem like they would taste good together, but when you put them in a way that they can complement each other and each one shines, they are delicious. So can one person really change the world? I say yes, and. Yes, and as Dom said, come fresh, come new, come open, come willing to any part of your life, every part of your life. And you can learn. You don't have to agree. Unified doesn't mean the same. Unity means we are all unique and are being allowed to be who we are, and we blend like that beautiful odd salad I just talked about. And so when you work on yourself, when you start with, like the airlines say, put your own oxygen mask on first. What I interpret that to mean is that how can I help myself have a healthy, unified conversation with myself and not get upset that I think something different than somebody else and carry that into other conversations. So the comfy couch, as Rick so aptly helped me to talk about, is an opportunity in a private, safe space created by the participants of that space. And sometimes that's a parent and a teenager. Sometimes that's a group of people who have been experiencing racism similar to what you did, Alana. It's sometimes people who disagree about aliens. Whatever kind of conversation you want to have, I invite you to come sit with me on the comfy couch of no judgment, just love. I will, as we're doing in this moment, mute myself and listen to you as you share your story, whatever that is, uninterrupted, not judged, with no commentary, so that you can actually hear what you think out loud. That is a gift to each human here. We don't let people finish their thoughts. We want to interrupt them with, oh, I disagree. And then that interrupts the brain, so you can't really know who you are and what you're thinking. You haven't had that chance. So that's what the comfy couch does. And then only if you invite my comment, you invite my opinion, will I offer it. Otherwise, that's the space. That's the gift. You get to hear what you think out loud and not have to worry about anybody's reaction. So thank you, everybody. This has been a full-on, awesome conversation. Please unmute. And if everyone would give like a 10 to 15 second closing that you would like, just something quick. What impressed you? What did you learn new? What did you want to confirm? And I give you 30 seconds just to say that, and then we'll close out. Shall we begin in the opposite way? Inhi, would you like to start first?
You know what? I just came just as I am. And I was like, you know what? I was always the bystander. And any kind of a political movements and then all of that, I've been more of a bystander and watching. And then by joining this one, at least I'm making my first move. That was my thought. And then what you just have said, and you know, it's like a unity. It's not about this all alike. It's you know, you come in the different shapes and different colors and all of that, but be able to share the thoughts and be able to connect to one another. That is just beautifully said. It's far beyond what I expect, and that's like this format. I love it. This is it's like a really refreshing. It's like I'm so glad that I got invitations from the Alana sent in to your group. This is a new awakening moment for me. So thank you.
Thank you, Inhi. Thank you so much for bringing your spirit here. I'm happy to meet you. And one day we'll meet on the tennis court, maybe.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Inhi. Alana.
Okay, I don't know if this applies, but judgments about correctness are made after the fact. I'd rather be interesting than right.
Yes, that absolutely applies. Thank you for that.
I borrowed it. It's Malcolm Gladwell, but it spoke to me. It's
Yes.
just, why does everybody have to be right? The comfy couch, just give them that space. Let them talk. You don't have to be right. You can just be interesting. That's okay.
Yes, yes, or boring, be whatever you want. And I'm here to witness you as another magnificent soul on this planet that that I am very happy to meet. Thank you,
Excellent.
Alana.
Thank you.
Dom, what you got?
I just want to say thank you guys for having me. This has been an interesting and fun conversation. You know, there's a lot to take away from this, and I'll definitely use it on the outside. Just unity, and that's all what I'm about, and I love that you guys are doing that. So I'm all on board. Whatever you guys need help with, go ahead and just let me know. But again, just thank you for having me, and looking forward to this again.
Thank you, Dom. Have a good day, buddy.
Thank you.
Rick.
Wow. Well, this has been a fabulous conversation, and I want to thank everyone for joining this conversation and having the courage to have this conversation in public. That's important. Well, Sharon and I do this all the time, but you other folks on this conversation, I don't know if you do it all the time, but anyway, I wanted to thank you for having that. You know, courageous conversations are important because we all become models then, you know, for other people, and do, you know, to create this the kind of world that we want to live in, really. I guess for me the final quote that I want to give is what I often say on Welcome to We Show broadcasts, which is a quote from our friend Jonathan Granoff when he's amazing. He's the president of the Global Security Institute, and he spoke when we launched the We campaign and We.net about 11 years ago or 12 years ago. And the last thing he said was, I hope that we expands so much that there is no longer any them.
Absolutely.
So thank you. And like you said before, it's all about we. We try to do inspire, inform, and involve. That's like our little slogan for We the World. We want to inspire, inform, and involve 3 I's that make a we.
Beautiful, Rick.
Thank you all.
Yes, I just want to close. Oh, thank you. I want to close by just being so grateful to my friends, former and new. Thank you, Inhi, Dom, and Alana, and Rick. This conversation was healthy and vibrant, and I hope people will look at the replay. Or Terry, are you still there?
Yes,
Not sure if Terry's there because she was following on the
she's got her,
Facebook.
yeah, she's got
Yes.
her,
Yes, I
Terry,
am
was
here.
anybody there having any conversation with us?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Yes, we've had several people that have had conversation, and I was hoping that you would be able to go in after and respond to some of the comments.
I will. Did
Yeah.
anything inspire you, Terry, from our conversation? Terry is my long good friend, and she is doing a U.S. peace tour. Is it a peace tour with any kind of location, Terry? There you are.
Hi, everybody. It's called the Peace on Earth Tour. And right
Yeah,
now
to
it's
Earth
just
again.
in the United States, but it will go globally. I have had several invitations from several countries, I can't talk, to come and do it there as well. I'm inspired by the beautiful conversation that was had today. And I so agree that listening is key. Listening without judgment, allowing everyone to express themselves without criticism. And that's what I try to do as well, Sharon, as I travel about talking about peace. And I ask people, you know, what does peace mean? And how can we have a more peaceful world? And tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, I will be on We the World presenting a recap of the Peace on Earth tour.
Awesome, Terry. Please put that in the chat. I mean, not in the chat, in the Facebook, so people will know to come. And if you can, I'll find it so I can send it to Alana and he and Dom if they're interested. But I want to end by thanking everyone so very much and reaffirming what you have done. Is every day I get reaffirmed that what I have chosen to be and do and offer to the world in the space of unity through the movement and message of no judgment, just love is so needed, so appreciated, and I am undaunted as I continue to do this every day. My goal is to cultivate love. Just cultivate love within yourself so that you know what it feels like to love yourself, to appreciate yourself. That one person at a time is you to yourself, so that if you can feel that for yourself, you can allow that for other people. And so with no judgment, I hope we all go off through our day and judge less, especially ourselves, so that we can give more allowance and love in the world, creating a wonderful unified earth. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
thank you. Bye-bye. It's all
Bye.
Bye.
about.